Hey everyone, welcome back to It's Just Queen Bee's Thoughts. I'm Queen Bee, and this is the 4th episode of my podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you've been following along, we've talked a lot about my journey with addiction, recovery, and how I've navigated relationships and setbacks along the way. But today, I want to shift the focus a little bit and talk about something that's been a lifeline for me during this whole process: creativity. For me, creativity, especially music, became the foundation for my healing. It's more than just something I enjoy. It's how I process my emotions, make sense of my experiences, and stay grounded. And it's what has allowed me to confront the darkest parts of my journey while transforming that pain into something meaningful. Today, I want to dive into how creativity can serve as a form of therapy, how it helps us express the things we can't always put into words, how it allows us to reflect on our past, and how it can guide us towards self-discovery and growth. Whether you consider yourself a creative person or not, I believe everyone has the ability to use creativity as a tool for healing. Let's start with why creativity works as a form of therapy. For me, music became a safe space where I could explore my emotions without judgment. I could say the things I was too afraid to admit out loud. It's funny, when I was in the darkest days of my addictions, there were times I couldn't talk to people about what I was going through. I couldn't even fully understand it myself. But I could write about it. I could pick up a pen, start scribbling lyrics, and suddenly all of the chaos in my mind had a place to go. One of the things I've learned in my recovery is that healing isn't just about stopping the behavior. It's about addressing the reasons why you turned to that behavior in the first place. And creativity allows you to dig into those deeper layers. It's not always easy, and there were times when the things I wrote scared me because they were so raw and so honest. But those were the moments where I started to heal the most. I think part of what makes creativity so powerful is that it bypasses the logical part of your brain and taps into your emotions directly. Whether it's painting, writing, music, or any other form of art, you don't have to explain your feelings. You just express them. And in that expression, you find clarity. For me, it was often through writing a song that I realized what I was actually feeling, or what I needed to address in my life. It was like uncovering a truth I didn't know I had inside me. Music specifically became my primary tool for processing everything I was going through. I've said this before, but when words failed me, music spoke for me. Creating songs about my experience with addiction allowed me to take control of my story. Instead of feeling like I was drowning in the chaos, I could channel it into something tangible, something I could hold on to and say, this is what I'm going through, and this is how I'm moving forward. One of the most powerful songs I've written is What Saved My Life. It was my way of grappling with a paradox that's hard to put into words. Writing that song allowed me to take a step back and reflect on the complicated emotions I had about meth and how it forced me to face the parts of myself that needed healing. It wasn't easy to write, but it was necessary. And I think that's the key to using creativity as a healing tool. You don't always have to know where it's going or what the final product will look like. Sometimes the process itself is the healing. Every time I pick up my microphone or sit down to write, it's like I'm giving myself permission to feel whatever I'm feeling without trying to fix it right away. The music carries those emotions, and in that process, something shifts. I've also found that my neurodivergence plays a huge role in how I approach creativity. Being neurodivergent means my brain doesn't always work in typical ways. I process information differently. I experience emotions in intense, sometimes overwhelming ways, and my thought patterns are anything but linear. For a long time, I thought this was a problem. I thought I was broken in some way. But as I've embraced my neurodivergence, I've realized that it's actually my greatest strength, especially when it comes to creativity. My brain doesn't follow the rules, and that's exactly what makes my music unique. When I sit down to write, I don't have to force myself into a box. I can let my thoughts flow in whatever direction they need to go. And that's incredibly freeing. I think a lot of people struggle with the idea that they need to create something perfect or that their art has to look a certain way. But the beauty of creativity is that it's personal. It's yours, and it doesn't have to make sense to anyone else. I've learned to embrace the chaos in my mind and turn it into something beautiful. And if you're someone who struggles with mental health, neurodivergence, or addiction, I think creativity can be a way to take that chaos and give it a form, give it meaning. You don't have to be a professional artist or musician to do this. Creativity is for everyone. Whether you're writing in a journal, doodling on a piece of paper, or strumming a few chords on the guitar, it's about expressing yourself in a way that feels authentic to you. So, how can you start using creativity as a healing tool in your own life? First, I want to say that it's not about perfection. It's about expression. You don't have to be an amazing artist or musician to benefit from creative outlets. It's about finding what resonates with you. Maybe it's drawing, maybe it's poetry, maybe it's dancing or cooking, whatever allows you to express your emotions. Start small. Don't pressure yourself to create a masterpiece. Just start by sitting with your emotions and allowing them to take shape in whatever form feels natural. Maybe it's scribbling down some thoughts or lyrics in a notebook. Or maybe it's putting on a song that really speaks to you, how you're feeling, and letting yourself move through the music. The point is to give yourself space to explore your feelings without judgment. And remember, creativity is a process. It's not always going to look pretty, and it doesn't have to. The act of creating is where the healing happens. Every time you express yourself, you're releasing some of the weight that you've been carrying. You're giving yourself the chance to reflect, process, and grow. So that's what I want to leave you with today. Creativity has been a huge part of my healing journey, and I believe it can be a powerful tool for anyone who's going through the tough times. It doesn't matter if you consider yourself a creative person. We all have the ability to express ourselves in ways that help us process what we're feeling. In the next episode, I'm going to talk more about the specific songs that helped me through my recovery, including some from my neurodivergent album. I'll break down the creative process behind them and how they help me reflect on my journey. But for now, I want to challenge you to start creating. It doesn't have to be perfect or even make sense to anyone else. Just allow yourself to express what you're feeling, however that looks for you. And if you've already started using creativity as a part of your healing process, I'd love to hear about it. Drop me a message or leave me a comment about what's been working for you. Until next time, keep creating, keep reflecting, and keep healing. You've got this.